Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says the slow start to the country's counteroffensive will soon pick up steam. Deploying weapons like clustered munitions could help support that optimism. The Ukrainian forces are looking to push back an increasingly aggressive Eastern Front. Great to see you. Your sense of it. Has this been a slow counteroffensive? Can Ukraine pick up the slack? The answer is yes to both. And I think the reason for that is, Zelensky was right. The way he talked about this. What he was saying was, this took a while to get things there. The weapons systems, the reapply of everything. The training. All of that really played a major role in the timing of the counteroffensive. And the other thing is we all have to be honest. We did a lot of talking about the counteroffensive. There was more talk than action. And I think that they lost the element of surprise in this particular case on the Ukrainian side. One of those foreshadowed things we've seen so far. We've seen the Ukrainian military deploying these munitions for the first time in the last few days. What is your sense of it? Is it making a meaningful difference? Will they really need upgrades in other areas? They'll definitely need upgrades in other areas. The cluster munitions are there. The Russians have definitely noticed them. They're definitely responding with cluster munitions of their own. It is upping the ante on both sides. I think the Ukrainians have a bit of an advantage. The American cluster munitions have less of a fail rate, as we call it, than the Russian munitions do. And the other part of it is, the reapply mechanisms are definitely in place for not only the cluster munitions but the more conventional munitions, the single-shot munitions that will resupply the 155mm munitions. That will make a big difference in a positive way for them. And Russia has consistently attacked Odessa, hitting grain stores. Zelensky says that's been deliberate. Yes. It was deliberate. When you look at where Odessa sits on the Ukraine coast, Black Sea, what the Russians have always wanted to do was cut that part of the Ukrainian coast off from access to the Black Sea. In other words, make Ukraine a landlocked country. They tried to do it at the very beginning. They failed. They're trying to do it again. They will probably fail again. It does show a weakness in the air defense systems. They need to ramp up the supply of Patriots. Other systems from the Germans and other air defense systems that would be a very beneficial thing. On a positive note, the Ukrainians are reporting that they're being able to shoot down 100% of the drones. That is a major impact. Not in Odessa but in other areas. If they can replicate that success in the Odessa area, that will make a big difference for that port city. And I'm sure you saw the report. The top foreign advisor to Emmanuel Macron says China is delivering but not on a massive scale. I think what they're talking about, at least what the French tried to clarify, the dual-use technologies. It's not that they're sending a tank directly but pieces and parts that can be used in tanks, and that kind of thing is really important because I've always had the suspicion if Chinese would do some kind of tacit support to the Russians, and I think that's probably what's happening. Because of that, the Russians are getting a bit of an advantage. They have a supply line with the Chinese. That can't be cut with economic actions, and that will help the Russians for some